Hi, and welcome to the Moneycorp monthly roundup for July. My name's Andrea. I'm one of the corporate dealers here at Moneycorp. So in this short video, we'll be recapping on the major news and data that's come out in July, the main drivers of the market, and also looking ahead and what we can expect later on in the year, over the coming months. So the month of July, in my opinion, started off with quite a positive tone to it. It was the month that we saw some sort of normality resuming. So we saw hairdressers, pubs, hotels and restaurants reopening, followed by gyms and beauty salons later on in the month. So yeah, all seemed fairly positive moves to get the UK economy moving again. The main data and news that we had out in July for the UK was the Chancellor's summer statement, where he unveiled several schemes to get people back into work, such as a job retention scheme, which was effectively paying employers £1,000 to bring back furloughed staff, and also a kickstart scheme, which was aimed at creating more jobs for 16 to 24-year-olds. He also announced a VAT cut for the hospitality and leisure industry. It was previously 20%, so it's been now cut to 5%. So this includes things such as eating out, accommodation, attractions. And he also unveiled a £10 voucher scheme, or also known as the Eat Out to Help Out scheme for eating out. So that comes into place in August. So again, all seemed fairly positive, aimed at getting people out and about spending their money again. Has it worked? I think it's still early to tell, but it'd be worth seeing how that pans out. He also unveiled the stamp duty holiday, which meant that the threshold was increased to £500,000. It was previously £125,000, so this was expected to help the housing market, which has been quite drastically hit. Sales at the beginning of the month were at half the levels that they were last year. This announcement did seem to have some sort of impact. Already we've seen home sales increase and a lot more activity in the housing market. Rishi Sunak also unveiled a £2 billion home insulation scheme, where the government will effectively contribute towards the cost of home insulation. Unfortunately, not all positive news though. Shortly after the statement, I think it was something like the following day even, we had several high street retailers and travel sector companies announce major job losses. We've also had dire forecasts from the government's OBR watchdog. They've forecasted that GDP will fall by at least 10% this year. Unemployment could be at 4 million in a year's time, and that we could face the worst recession in 200 years. They also warned of tax rises and said that spending cuts are inevitable. Over onto the FX side of things, which I'm sure you're more interested in. We had a pretty volatile month, a lot of movement in the currencies. So just to recap, on sterling euro, we had a low of 109.39 and a high of 111.86. On cable, we saw a low of 124.41 and a high of 130.72. It's worth mentioning that the movement on cable has been steady throughout the month. So the low was more or less at the beginning of the month, and the high was pretty much at the end of the month. We haven't been at the 130 mark since pre-lockdown, so this is the first time we've seen 130 since the 11th of March. The main movements have been on euro dollar, though, I'd say. We had a low of 112.25 and a high of 117.93. So this high we haven't seen for almost 2 years now. This is more a case of a weak US dollar and stronger euro driving the markets, as opposed to sterling strength. The US, as I'm sure you've seen, is under an immense amount of pressure, struggling to control the virus, and cases are still on the rise. Just today, they've announced that they've had 150 deaths due to COVID. In the background, we've also got the US-China tension going on, and also there have been an increase in jobless claims over in the US with 1.4 million new claims. So this is the first increase that they've seen since April. So could still be worse to come, I think. Over in the EU, the main news from the Eurozone came from the EU summit, which lasted almost 5 days. With this, a historic deal on a massive stimulus plan has been agreed between European Union leaders, which was worth 750 billion euros. Looking further ahead now and what we can expect over the coming months, I think the main factor will still be very much COVID related. There have been concerns of a second spike, which seems to be occurring sooner rather than later. We've already had news of this in Europe. It was expected that this second spike wouldn't reach us until the autumn winter time, but yeah, seems to be coming around a lot sooner. So it'd be interesting to see how that pans out, and if we'll be more prepared this time round. Later on in the year as well, we've also got US elections and Brexit still very much in the background as well. So we'll see how that pans out. And then looking further ahead, maybe into 2021 and further beyond that, is how will the government pay back stimulus? Hopefully you've been able to watch the webinar with Vicky Price. She goes into this in a lot more detail, probably more than I can. So it'd be worth watching if you haven't already. That's pretty much it for this roundup. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more, please sign up to our daily and monthly briefs, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Thanks again, and until next month.